They call this place Weirdo Beach. I don't know, it ain't that weird to me. Oh, yeah.
All right, give me a characterization of your childhood.
I was the total opposite of what I am right now. I was quiet, withdrawn. I read a lot. I wrote poetry.
At what point in your early life were you introduced to this quote-unquote thug mentality?
When I was out there by myself, with nowhere to stay and no money.
Which city?
Bits of it was in Baltimore. Pieces of it was in Marin City. And then the rest came in Oakland.
And what was your first introduction?
Drug dealers, pimps, prostitutes. That's really it. Criminals. They the only people that cared about me at that point. When I had nowhere to go,
but you said
and I was
your mother
hungry,
always cared about you.
She did, but she was lost at that particular moment. She wasn't caring about herself at that moment.
And what was that like, to have a mother who was addicted to crack?
I love my mom. She the bomb to me, so
I know
love
she
all
is
her
now,
mistakes.
but what about then?
It was hard. It was hard because, you know, she was my hero.
And what did you do when you stopped going to school?
I only had 2 jobs ever in my life. One was in Round Table Pizza. I used to make the pizza, but it was good. It was the perfect job to have it because I was hungry and I got to like eat all the toppings off people's pizza. That's why, because everything is right there. Could you imagine? I was making pizzas on the side, bringing pizzas home. I'm calling in my own deliveries.
Hello?
I'm saying, we on Venice Beach. That's what you're supposed to do. I've been in jail for 11 months, Tabitha. You got to let me get a look or something.
Do you think it's important to tell your fans that it's not cool to end up in jail?
I don't have any problem telling people it's not cool to go to jail, because I've been there and it's not cool.
He is out on bail pending his appeal. Since his release, he's rarely left the studio, where he's recording tracks for his upcoming double album.
Please, you got to keep your head up. Hey, don't film this though, man. It's private, man.
So just tell me how you've been feeling with all the stuff that's been going on the last couple of weeks.
Good, relieved, happy to be home. It's a trip when you know that last week you were in jail and I was in this little cell and it was real dirty and I didn't have any hot water and dudes were telling me when to shower and when to eat and all of that. And then the next week I'm up in Monty's with champagne and filet mignon and lobster and shrimps.
Did you ever feel like your life was threatened in jail?
By the guards, not by the inmates. And they just did everything they could do to try to break me because I used to talk a lot of, coming out of jail.
No, not you.
I know. It's hard to believe, Tabitha, but you just got to picture it. But, they would say things, because they would call you, jail was the first place and I can go, and they just went, as soon as I got there, they went, there he goes. And he goes, who? And he goes, there's the rich nigga. I was like, oh, he said nigger. He said nigger. And everybody's looking at me like, so? I was like, oh my God, this is where I'm gonna be staying? He just said nigger.
Well, you got niggas in one of your records.
Niggas. He's talking about niggers. Niggers was the ones on the rope hanging out the thing. Niggas is the ones with gold ropes hanging out at clubs.
Well, maybe not everyone's aware of the differentiation.
They don't have to be. Everyone, if you're not a nigger and you don't use that word, you don't have to understand.
Word.
It's just not one of those things.
How did you meet the girl involved in the alleged rape?
I met her in a club. Some guys introduced me to her. Sorry. I met her in the club. Some guys introduced me to her.
And she was very forward with you?
Extremely.
And what happened?
She did some things. And
sexual things?
We got together, yeah. She did some things there at the club, and we got together later that night. I saw her again another time with these guys that introduced me to her. Everybody was having a good time, didn't do anything sexual, they just having a good time. Me and her went in there, she gave her a massage, came out, went to sleep, woke up, she's screaming rape, I raped her, and the next thing I know, I'm going to jail.
So in your opinion, there was no truth to the sexual abuse charges?
Not on my part at all.
If you could go back to the night when the sexual abuse occurred, is there anything that you would do differently?
Yeah.
What?
I would not have closed my eyes until she was out of the room. Until everybody was out of the room.
I've grown up with tons of wild stories from lots of legendary rock bands and things that they did with their groupies. Do you feel like there's a double standard for black artists and white artists and how they entertain their groupies?
Yes, it is a double standard. Because America's scared of a black man's sexuality. And they only see us as brutes who can only go, hammer girl. They just can't imagine us being any other way. And that's why it was so easy for people to believe that I could do this.
It seemed like there was a time, though, that you were definitely reveling in the image of sort of being wild and crazy. And what got you off that path?
5 hot bullets.
Well, tell me what happened at the recording studios in Times Square.
I got shot 5 times. I walked in, some dudes walked in and shot me up. Took some jewelry.
Do you know who shot you? No. Is that a no or is that a maybe?
No, I don't know who
No.
shot me.
So does that mean that you also have no idea why they shot you?
No, I have no idea why they shot me.
Do you think that they shot you just to get your jewelry?
I don't know. It's like anybody's guess. I don't know.